Okay, so for this Unit 3 lab assignment in Sports and Entertainment Marketing, you are to, let's look at this first lab. So you need to go to this Clemson Tigers webpage and then simply answer the following questions. So you're going to kind of examine the webpage, analyze it, find out how many advertisements there are. Do you think the advertising space detracts from the website? Why or why not? So let's check out their website real quick. So this is the Clemson Tiger web page. So scroll through it, look around, let's see if we find, so here's a couple ads coming through. So go through and here's some more ads down here. Go through and count and see how many ads you can find. There's another one in this bar here. And then respond to these questions. Do you think they detract from the website? Are they too overbearing? Why or why not? And make sure you're using complete sentences. Go into detail. Do they go along with the flow of the page? Do they stand out too much and it's distracting? What do you think of all these different ads? Do you see any that you're compelled to click on? So put some thought in and some thought into these answers and give a couple sentences and explain your reason. Do you feel compelled to click on any of the ads? If so, which ones and why? So again, if you do, explain why. If you don't, explain why. Who do you think the target market of these advertisements is? So who do you think they're trying to catch with these ads? Who goes to this web page? Who's looking at the Clemson Tigers? What do you think the target market is that these advertisements are geared towards? So again, answer, go into explanation, write a few sentences backing up your response. For lab assignment 2, this one's fun. You get to look at each of these musicians' web pages, Brad Paisley and Katy Perry, and then answer the following questions. So this is another one. You need to make sure you're going into detail. What words would you use to describe each site? Obviously, just by looking at these two different web pages, you should not be using the same words to describe each of these sites. They are obviously very different, obviously geared towards very different target markets. So make sure you are describing each of them and going into detail with what you're seeing and what you think those websites are trying to portray. So what words would you use to describe each site? Different words for each site, and be specific about which words you're using to describe each site. What's the major difference between the two sites? Again, go into some detail. What site do you prefer? Why? So use, again, complete sentences. You might notice a pattern of me trying to make sure I'm getting you guys to give enough information, because that seems to be a big issue on these assignments, is you guys aren't backing up a lot of your one-word answers. You're just either saying yes or no, and that's not enough. You need to go into an explanation as to why you think or feel or are responding in this way. Can you determine the target market for each site? Who do you think the target market is for this Brad Paisley site? Who do you think the target market is for this Katy Perry site? Okay, a little louder, a little busier, a little more colorful, whereas Brad Paisley, still fun and exciting and stuff for his tour, but maybe not. I mean, it's obvious that the same person that looks at Brad Paisley's site probably isn't the same person that looks at Katy Perry. Obviously, they might have some fans that like both artists, but there is a general target market in mind. So explain those different target markets for each site. How does the site attempt to cater to that target market? So what is it about each site that is going to be attractive to that target market? And then, do you think this attempt is effective? Is it working? Do you think it matches and goes along with the target market that each of these sites is trying to hit? Okay, then for lab assignment 3, you are to go to Twitter and use the search box to do a search for your favorite athlete or entertainer. And you do not need a Twitter account in order to complete this assignment, but you do have to go to twitter.com and you're going to do a search for your favorite athlete or entertainer, and then answer the following questions. How many followers do they have? When did they last tweet? read through the rest of their tweets on the first page, look through the images, see if you can determine how the individual attempted to brand him or herself. So, and again, in this unit, we talk about how social media plays a big part in marketing for athletes and entertainers. So if we do a search here, and for some reason, Lady Gaga is coming to mind for me. So if we look at Lady Gaga's page here, and sometimes it's kind of hard to determine who's the real one. Okay, actually I decided to go with LeBron James because Lady Gaga's site wasn't entirely appropriate. So let's look at LeBron James's page. So a couple of questions that you need to answer. How many followers does this person have? When did they last tweet? He has 24.5 million followers. He last tweeted October 20th. But just kind of scroll through his page and see what's he doing to kind of help market himself on his Twitter page. What do you think? Showing himself with different fans, maybe, different advertisements that he's in, kind of all the shout outs that he's giving to these different companies. It looks like he's like encouraging fans to always push themselves, always do better. Sharing his, obviously he's got some sort of deal with Nike there. So promoting his deal with Nike, promoting his own brand. So what else can you kind of gather from looking over, and it doesn't have to be LeBron James. Choose your own favorite celebrity or athlete and in order to answer these questions. So again, try to determine how they're using social media to brand him or herself. And then now that you've had this experience, do you feel compelled to follow that person on Twitter? So maybe you already do, or maybe you don't, and now you want to, or maybe something would keep you from following them. For instance, I was just looking at Lady Gaga, so I'm like, oh, this is a little bit too intense for me. But LeBron James seems very like a positive person and not too overwhelming with crazy tweets. So that might be someone I would start following on Twitter. But again, you don't need a Twitter account to complete that one, but you can go do a search there. So that is it for this Unit 3. There are those 3 different lab assignments for Unit 3.